A simple cup of coffee, steam rising, the aroma filling the air. For most, it's just a morning ritual. But for one woman, on this particular morning, that coffee would become a symbol of something much bigger, something that would change lives forever. This is the story of a moment that shattered assumptions, exposed truths, and reminded us all that sometimes the most powerful lessons come from the most unexpected places. Evelyn Carter had spent her entire life preparing for this day. Born and raised in the South Side of Chicago, she'd seen the best and worst of humanity. Her father, a retired firefighter, had taught her the value of service. Her mother, a school teacher, had instilled in her the importance of education and integrity. Evelyn had taken those lessons to heart, rising through the ranks of the Chicago Police Department with grit, determination, and an unshakable belief in justice. Officers Harris and Reynolds had been partners for 5 years. They were known around the precinct as the dynamic duo, though not always for the right reasons. They had a reputation for cutting corners, for bending the rules, but they were also good at their jobs, or so they thought. They had no idea that their new captain was about to walk into their lives, and that their first meeting would be anything but ordinary. A simple mistake, or so it seemed. But the way Officer Harris reacted told a different story. No apology, no concern, just a dismissive shrug and a muttered comment under his breath, a comment that revealed more about him than he realized. And in that moment, Evelyn Carter made a decision. She wouldn't reveal who she was, not yet. She wanted to see how far this would go. She wanted to see the truth. By 8:15 a.m., the precinct was buzzing with activity. Officers were preparing for their shifts, paperwork was being filed, and the usual morning chatter filled the air. But there was something different about today. Rumors had been circulating for weeks about the new captain, someone from outside the precinct, someone with a reputation for being tough, fair, and unyielding in the face of injustice, someone who didn't tolerate misconduct, no matter who was involved. "Good morning, officers," she says, her voice calm but firm. "I'm Captain Evelyn Carter, your new commanding officer, and before we begin, I'd like to address something that happened this morning." "What happened this morning was more than just a spilled cup of coffee," Evelyn continues. "It was a reminder that respect is not given, it's earned. And it was a wake-up call for all of us. Because if we can't treat each other with dignity and respect, how can we expect to serve the community? How can we expect to uphold the law?" "This isn't just about me," Evelyn says. "It's about all of us. It's about the kind of department we want to be, and it's about the trust we need to build with the people we serve. So let's use this as an opportunity to do better, to be better, because that's what we owe to ourselves and to the community." Sometimes it takes a moment of discomfort to spark real change. Sometimes it takes a spilled cup of coffee to remind us of what really matters. And sometimes it takes a leader like Captain Evelyn Carter to show us the way. Thank you for watching. If this story resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment. Let's keep the conversation going, because change starts with us. Evelyn's journey to becoming a police captain was anything but easy. Growing up in a neighborhood where crime was rampant and opportunities were scarce, she learned early on that life wasn't fair. But her parents, both pillars of the community, taught her that fairness was something you had to fight for. Her father, a retired firefighter, often said, "You don't wait for someone to save you. You save yourself, and then you save others." Today, Evelyn made a promise to herself. She would join the police force, not to be part of the problem, but to be part of the solution. She would rise through the ranks, and she would change the system from within. It was a bold dream, but Evelyn was nothing if not bold. Evelyn's time in the academy was a test of endurance, but it was also a test of character. She could have let the negativity break her, but instead she used it as fuel. She graduated at the top of her class, earning the respect of her peers and the admiration of her instructors. But she knew that the real test was yet to come. Officer Thompson became a mentor to Evelyn, teaching her the ropes and showing her the importance of community policing. He believed in her, and that belief gave her the confidence to keep pushing forward. But even with Thompson's support, Evelyn faced countless obstacles. She was passed over for promotions, subjected to unfair scrutiny, and constantly had to prove herself in ways her male counterparts never did. That day, Evelyn proved that she was more than just a good officer. She was a great one. Her actions earned her a commendation, but more importantly, they earned her the respect of her colleagues. It was a turning point in her career, and it set her on the path to becoming a captain. Officer Dan Harris grew up in a small, predominantly white town where diversity was almost non-existent. His father, a former police officer, had instilled in him a sense of duty, but also a sense of superiority. Harris had joined the force with the intention of making a difference, but over time he had become jaded, cynical, and complacent. Officer Mike Reynolds, on the other hand, had a different story. He had grown up in a rough neighborhood where crime was a way of life. He had joined the police force to escape that life, but he had also brought with him a deep-seated mistrust of authority. Reynolds had always been a follower, and his partnership with Harris had only reinforced his worst tendencies. Both Harris and Reynolds had lost their way, but Evelyn's leadership would give them a chance to find it again. Evelyn knew that change wouldn't happen overnight, but she was committed to the long haul. She believed in the power of community, in the importance of trust, and in the possibility of a better future. And slowly but surely her efforts began to pay off. Change is never easy, but it's always worth it. And for Evelyn Carter, it was a journey that began with a spilled cup of coffee and ended with a precinct that was stronger, fairer, and more united than ever before. Thank you for watching. If this story resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment. Let's keep the conversation going, because change starts with us.